Hello, everyone. Yet another full moon, this time in Sagittarius, and yet another full moon that has lots of star placements, which makes it even more interesting. And if you look at the sign dichotomies, and obviously you probably know by now that the opposite signs require us to look at the year ahead and see that these are very, very different opposite energy patterns because they are at opposite sides of the solar year. And out of these dichotomies, I think the Sagittarius Gemini is the dilemma is the sweetest, the least problematic, and mainly because these two constellations are on the Milky Way, and the Milky Way provides us with cosmic energy, because we have a spiral galaxy, and spiral galaxies have open arms, and these arms are just transporting down the energy for us here down on the Earth plane, so we can make use of it. Let's take a look at the London chart. And the full moon will be on the 11th of June. Hold on a second, let me show you this. At 8:44 a.m. Obviously, you won't be able to see this. You have to wait until probably 10 a.m. before you actually will see the full moon on the eastern horizon. So we have a Leo rising in it's quite interesting because the Budapest chart also has a Leo rising. And there are a number of conjunctions. As you can see, the Vesta black moonlit is already doubly separating, and Saturn, Neptune are coming together, but they won't be exact. So this conjunction is not going to be exact. But Saturn, Neptune aspect, especially the conjunction, is about what we create. It's the so-called architect conjunction. And yes, in Aries, we may concoct war, and the way it looks like, and the way the European leaders behave really doesn't look too good. It's very interesting to look at your own prime minister, who is an idiot, but of course a globalist idiot, and it doesn't. What I keep telling you, and hopefully some of you will recognize the truth of this. There's no longer left or right. There's no longer someone who is there for the underdog, and then the bourgeoisie who is there for profits and whatever. It's no longer that. It's globalists versus patriots. And if you are not a patriot, the problem is you won't have any roots. And look at what's happening to any plant that doesn't have any roots. And so this is something that you need to understand. And I don't care where you live, and I don't care what you consider your homeland, but without your home, without your family, without your roots, you're nothing and nobody. That's the problem. And this Sagittarius full moon is teaching something about this, hopefully. And Saturn Neptune conjunctions, as I said, are about what we create, and how. And in Aries, it's not a very nice conjunction. What can we do? We have to do it. The Chiron Aries conjunction is separating. At the moment, Chiron is a bit faster than Aries, and it will separate, and then it will come back together again, and then there will be another conjunction. The final conjunction will be in 2026, which is really the turning point year when all the outer planets are finally making their ingress into the new signs. Uranus is about to go into Gemini, and then it will be conjunct Sedna. That's going to be a biggie, and we are going to, of course, look at it in detail. And on the midheaven of the London chart, you have dark moon Lilith. And dark moon Lilith is the acceptance of the curse. It's kind of like, okay, I will do whatever I damn bad, please, even if you are mad at me or you are going to curse me. And this is what your very own Starmer, Prime Minister Starmer, does. He doesn't care that half the English children are suffering because either of malnutrition or simply not making ends meet. And look at what's happening to your country. It's ridiculous. This is all I can tell you. Okay, and also this is the outset of the star pathway energy when the sun is moving across the Gemini 20 to 25 degrees. It's going to be June 11th till the 15th. We are going to take a look at that as well. Let's see, this is the position of the visible planets. The rub is you won't be able to see anything because after sunset, Jupiter and Mercury won't be visible in the sky, at least not in London. Okay, you need, by maybe 11-ish, you will have the full moon on the eastern horizon, but that's it, and you will see Mars. And Venus and Saturn are morning stars, but very, very early dawn. And I don't think, unless you are coming home from somewhere at 2, 3 in the morning, you won't be able to see them. In the London chart, there is a mutable ground cross, um, and also a fixed T-square. The fixed T-square is in the London chart. Actually, the mutable ground cross with the Sun-Moon opposition and the nodes is everywhere. So that is the biggie. That's the main issue. And this simply means that this is a crossroads for a lot of stuff, really, whether we are going to choose the future or the past, whether we are able to learn from the past and concentrate on the future. That's the dilemma of this particular full moon. But there's also a fixed T-square with the London chart, the ascendant, descendant, and Venus. So it is kind of a turning point, what you choose, how you choose your allies or your enemies. There's also a tense rectangle involving the ascendant, descendant, and the nodes. This is it. So it looks like a mystic rectangle, but no, the two oppositions are surrounded by semi-square and sesquiquadrates. And there's also a tensely dissolved opposition. The full moon is dissolved by Venus, but as you can see, everywhere you only have tense aspects. When you look at this, you might try to find redeeming factors. The only redeeming factor comes from sesquiquadrates if and when they are in the same elements, because it's either the same element or at quincunx. So it's either a trine or a quincunx energy. And if you take a good look, you will see that actually not one of the sesquiquadrates is such, because this is for instance, this one between the ascendant and the north node, it's Pisces and Leo, so it's fire and water. Sorry about that. The Venus Moon sesquiquadrate is Taurus and Sagittarius. So it's fire and Earth. So there's no redeeming factor in this energy pattern. That's the problem, and it's not very healthy. But what can I say? Okay, let's take a look at the transcendental celestial objects. The sun has 3 asteroids, 1 TNO and 1 fixed star. They are all color-coded. Asteroids which describe the personal karmic issues are in magenta. TNOs, SDOs, centaurs are in blue. Those are describing the karmic wounds and potential healing energies. And fixed stars are higher dimensional energies that are not of the 3rd dimension. They are higher dimensional, and also not of the solar system. They are of the of universal energies, and we go there either to accept something, a task or a duty which requires a lot of knowledge, or to heal from a difficult incarnation. Those are the things. And on the sun, you have Pompeia, complete destruction. Valhalla, the hall of the meeting hall of the Lord of the gods in Norse mythology, and Hypnos, who is the brother of Thanatos, the death. So it's death and dream, and how we are all hypnotized by our leaders. Alkira is I believe it is a New Zealand or I think it's a New Zealand creation story where Alkira creates the whole world and then turns its back and moves to goes to the very edge of his creation and never looks back. And it denotes three things. Either when it's positive, it describes someone who loves to create but doesn't like to run stuff, just not to operate, but to create. And in a negative respect, it describes someone who creates something and then doesn't deal with the consequences. And then Bellatrix, which is Gamma Orion, which is the western star, western shoulder of the celestial hunter, and this describes the shadow energy of the whole hunter energy of Orion, and it denotes the ability to be successful from the shadow. On Venus, you have Osiris, Boetius, a philosopher and the lord of a lord of the underworld, the Egyptian underworld, and Sheraton, which is Beta Aries, and it denotes the whole constellation Aries is about fighting and self-assertion. But Sheraton symbolizes the fact that sometimes we need to fight for a lost cause. Now they want to take away our financial freedom. They want us to only have plastic, not real money. And if this occurs, that's it. That's the end of sovereignty, believe me. And sometimes it is worth fighting for what's due. On the ascendant of the London chart, you have Varuna, which is an Indian archetype. It's the creation lord for a Hindu creation lord, and quite interestingly, it is linked to what I call queen's karma, and the queen always has to deliver the heir. That's what's involved here. Quite interestingly, and Prasepa is the beehive of the constellation Cancer, and it is one of the stargates where the new souls are coming down to the earth plane. On the descendants, you have Orius and Amicus, two centaurs, not very nice either of them. Amicus denotes the fighting spirit that says that I don't care, I will use a very sacred object just to fight, just to kill. And Orius is a bear centaur that is killing people, and Zeus wants to punish him and his brother, but can't really punish him to the extent he wishes, simply because they are the great grandsons of Ares, of Mars. And so Aureus always means mitigated punishment. On the North Node, you have Taran Hiawako, an archetype that describes that in a new era, you need to learn new skills, and sometimes they are very difficult and very hard, but you still, for survival, you need to learn those skills. And Markham, which is Alpha Pegasus. So it's the bright ideas jumping out of your head. And on the South Node, you have Tesla, who I think is the first real documented Atlantean who came back with the Atlantean knowledge to save mankind. But of course, I don't know what happened to him. Let's not go there. And as I said, this is really a star-studded full moon because they have a number of stars. The Prasepa, which is on the ascendant, is like a new creation, like coming into the world in a new form. The sun is Bellatrix, Gamma Orion, the western shoulder, being successful from the shadow. Sheraton fighting for a lost cause, and even being brave and fighting to the very limits. Alphard, which is Alpha Hydra, I'm going to show you where it is in a minute. And Jupiter is on Mancalian. Jupiter just moved into Cancer, and it will stay there for a year. And Mancalian is at 0 degrees Cancer, so it's at the summer solstice point. It's Beta Auriga, and it represents Vulcan or Hephaestus, who is handicapped, but he creates this wonderful chariot by which he can go wherever he wants. And Mancalian is a star where we learn to overcome our physical handicaps. So it's quite prominent in the charts of para-Olympians, for instance. And on the North Node, you have Markab again, Alpha Pegasus, which is ideas jumping out of your head. Here's some of these stars. And as you can see, this is something that I showed you in the stars, the night sky in June, last video. And here's Sheraton. So Venus is aligned with Sheraton, beta Aries. And the sun is aligned with Bellatrix. You have to understand that, first of all, these are perpendicular to the ecliptic, and the whole thing is a globe. So you have these round, these lunes, so to speak. Okay, and then Jupiter is aligned in Mancunian, and of course this will be never conjunct anything because it's at 45 degrees from the celestial equator. And here's Alphard, which is Alpha Hydra, and again Hydra is an underworld figure, and you can read about him in the Hercules myth. And Hydra uh, again is overtaking some of the liminal spaces on the ecliptic. And now Mars is aligned with our Hydra. And between June 11th and June 15th, the sun is on the so-called star pathway. Jupiter was there a couple of weeks ago, so was Mercury, and now it's the sun. And between these dates, it's Gemini 20 to 25 degrees. The very first one is Bellatrix, Gamma Orion. Capella, which is Alpha Auriga, it's the final healing word for suicide victims. Elnat, which is the beta star of Taurus, it's the tip of the celestial bull's horn, and it represents the fact that sometimes we need to fight, even though we want to actually kind of preserve our equilibrium, but we can't because we need to fight if we need to do that. Mesa is the head of the celestial hunter. Bellatrix is the western shoulder. Mintaka and Alnilam are the two of the belt stars. Ensis is the Great Orion Nebula, and Focht, so these are all Orion stars, and Focht is the Alpha Columba, so the dove star, which is on the southern hemisphere, so you won't be able to see it from the northern portions. So this is the full moon. Happy full moon, and thank you for listening. Bye bye.